So I start again, with less gear and more of an idea of what I'm in for. Mum is out of hospital after it was discovered her potassium levels were so low she was like a walking heart attack waiting to happen. These low levels were due to blood pressure medication she'd been on for 13 years. The irony of modern medicine. I made a plan to visit 2 country pubs today, the Harrow pub, built in 1848, and the Apsley pub, which has free camping. It's funny how you never really appreciate your own backyard. Today was a stinker, one of those dry hot days that scorched the landscape to a golden brown. I couldn't wait to get out of the flat barren country of the Wimmera. The only break in the monotony, the majestic Grampians mountain range. As I get closer to Harrow, I notice a pleasant change in the surroundings. Huge red gum trees stand like ancient sentinels watching over the country. The distance between letterboxes and the imposing entrance gateways made me aware the farms here weren't hobby farms. These holdings had serious acreage. I get to the Harrow pub around 6:30 p.m. As Apsley is 45 minutes away, I decide to only have one drink and ride on. On these country roads the wildlife gets more active at dusk, so I didn't want to risk getting in too late. Harrow is one of the original inland settlements of Victoria, but its glory days are long gone. On no major thoroughfare, it's been left much as it was 100 years ago. But its residents have been proactive in their attempts to keep Harrow on the map. It was home of the Butte Blokes event, where city women were invited to meet local isolated farmers in the hope of creating more families in the district. The locals also put on a show for tourists, a racy pantomime with period costumes whereby they walk the town's one main street, decoding its history. I met a local called Bruce with an impressive handlebar moustache. He was so passionate in his explanation of the pantomime show, he barely drew breath. I'm aware it's getting late. I have to hit the road now if I want to make Apsley before sundown. I take it slow, 80 to 90, assessing the landscape. Not much roadkill, still fairly warm, but still a risk. I pan the country for any sign of active wildlife. Up ahead, a mother emu and youngster sprightly cross the road. I see a wallaby or two, and then have some luck. A woman in a small SUV passes me, and I decide to tailgate her to Edenhope. 110, 120. She's going at a fair click, but I keep close to her tail. If a roo jumps out, her car will be my barrier. My method probably isn't the most sound, for if she hits a roo, I've still got to slow down in time to miss her, but it feels safer having someone go through the patchy bushland before me. I use the same method just out of Edenhope, tailing a truck towing a four-wheel drive, the turbulence causing a light cooling effect in the dry, sweltering heat. I make it to Apsley and head straight to the bar and order a meal before closing. Local Doola Downs lamb shoulder with a sweet pumpkin puree, Brussels sprouts, pine nuts and feta. It was delicious, quite impressive for a rural pub. The Border Inn only reopened in 2014 after laying unoccupied for 3 years. 12 local farming families joined together to run the Art Deco facade hotel, concerned that losing the pub would be a death knell for the local community. Later that night the pub was pretty quiet with only 2 patrons, and only one being local. He told me he remembers a day when the pub was so full he had to get served on the footpath through a window. Talk turned to investment funds buying up local land at exorbitant prices, and the further destruction this has on the local population. I wake to the incessant chattering of a caucus of cockatoos. They really are like the teenage girls of the bird world, lively and loud. A fine dew covered everything I didn't put in the tent, and my morning inspection revealed a missing nut holding my number plate. I made a quick fix of the situation with a wrap of electrical tape. I have breakfast in the recently opened local cafe. A couple from Adelaide bought it and told me their main clientele were truckies and tourists, passer-bys. It's encouraging to hear these stories of rural communities attempting to turn the tide on population exodus. But it makes me wonder what the future holds for an Australia where most of its citizens reside in the cities.